It was a crisp Friday evening in Los Angeles, and the red carpet outside the iconic Dolby Theater gleamed under the flashing lights of dozens of cameras. Hollywood's biggest stars had gathered for the premiere of Starlight Chronicles, the year's most anticipated sci-fi blockbuster. The glittering event was invitation only, with celebrities, influencers, and industry elites gracing the venue in designer gowns and tailored suits. Security was tight. This was no ordinary movie night. Inside one of the black SUVs parked discreetly around the corner, 18-year-old Barron Trump sat fidgeting with the cuffs of his leather jacket. Tall and lanky, with an air of calm confidence inherited from his famous parents, Barron looked out of place in the ordinary car. But what was even more peculiar was his plan, sneaking into the premiere. "Are you sure about this?" Barron's best friend, Jake, whispered nervously from the passenger seat. Jake, the son of a tech billionaire, had been Barron's partner in crime since they were kids. "Relax," Barron replied, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. "We're just here to have a little fun. No one's going to notice two teenagers slipping in. Everyone's too busy looking for Tom Cruise or Zendaya." Jake adjusted his cap, pulling it low over his face. "Your dad's going to kill you if this gets out." "My dad?" Barron laughed. "My mom's the one we should be worried about." The boys had planned their heist meticulously. Jake's family's driver, who was used to indulging their antics, dropped them off a block away to avoid suspicion. They'd each donned casual yet inconspicuous outfits, blending into the sea of assistants and interns rushing to get everything perfect for the event. The boys approached the back entrance of the Dolby Theater, where catering staff and tech crews bustled in and out. Barron had scoped out the venue earlier in the week, noting this entrance had minimal security. As they neared the door, a gruff security guard standing by the entrance gave them a once-over. Barron acted swiftly, holding up a clipboard he'd swiped from Jake's dad's office. "We're here to check on the sound setup," Barron said, keeping his voice calm and authoritative. There were issues with the second speaker during the rehearsal. The guard squinted at them. "Sound setup?" "Yeah," Jake chimed in, attempting to sound annoyed. "Do you want Zendaya to complain about bad audio halfway through the premiere? Because I don't." The guard, clearly overwhelmed by the chaos of the night, sighed and waved them through. "Just don't mess anything up, all right?" The moment they stepped inside, Barron and Jake exchanged victorious grins. They were in. Inside, the backstage area was a maze of wires, props, and catering tables. The boys carefully navigated their way toward the main hall, trying to look as though they belonged. They passed a group of makeup artists retouching a celebrity's look, a director barking orders into his headset, and even a reporter practicing their live coverage script. When they finally slipped into the Grand Theater, Barron's jaw dropped. The room was packed with Hollywood royalty. Rows of velvet seats faced the enormous screen, and the stage was set for a pre-screening Q&A with the cast. Jake nudged him. "This is insane. Look, there's Chris Pratt." Barron nodded, wide-eyed. "And Margot Robbie." "Holy crap." The boys found two empty seats toward the back of the hall. They slouched down, trying to avoid drawing attention to themselves. As the lights dimmed and the event began, they exchanged triumphant glances. So far, so good. The first half of the premiere went off without a hitch. The film was mesmerizing, the kind of cinematic experience that reminded Barron why he loved movies in the first place. But halfway through, things took a turn. Jake leaned over and whispered, "I'm starving. Do you think they have snacks?" Barron rolled his eyes. "You seriously want popcorn right now? I didn't eat dinner." Jake protested. Barron sighed. "Fine, let's go. But we have to be quick." The boys slipped out of their seats and headed toward the lobby, where they found an elaborate spread of hors d'oeuvres and champagne. Jake immediately went for the sliders, while Barron helped himself to a tiny plate of sushi. As they munched on their snacks, a voice behind them made them freeze. "You're not supposed to be here, are you?" Barron turned slowly, his heart sinking. Standing before them was none other than Scarlett Johansson, her piercing gaze fixed on them. She was wearing an elegant black dress, and she did not look amused. We were just," Jake stammered. Barron, ever the quick thinker, jumped in. "We're interns," he said smoothly. "We're helping with The event logistics? Scarlett raised an eyebrow. Really? Because I know all the interns, and I've never seen you two before. Barron's mind raced. Renew. First day. Scarlett crossed her arms. First day, huh? Then you won't mind if I check with the event manager? Jake looked like he was about to faint. But before Scarlett could call security, a booming voice interrupted them. Hey, what's going on over here? It was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, towering over everyone with his signature grin. Scarlett gestured toward the boys. These two say they're interns. I think they're crashing the premiere. The Rock looked at Barron and Jake, then burst out laughing. Come on, Scarlett. They're just kids. Let them have their fun. Scarlett sighed but relented. Fine. But if they cause any trouble, they're out. The Rock winked at the boys. You owe me one. Barron and Jake quickly nodded, muttering their thanks before scurrying away. Back in their seats, Jake whispered, We are so dead if this gets out. Barron couldn't help but laugh. Relax. The Rock just saved us. How many people can say that? But their adventure wasn't over yet. As the credits rolled and the audience erupted into applause, the cast and crew began to mingle with the guests. Barron couldn't resist the temptation to meet some of his idols. The boys wandered through the crowd, trying to blend in. Barron spotted Timothée Chalamet chatting with Zendaya and dared Jake to go say hi. Jake refused, so Barron walked over himself. Hi, Mr. Chalamet, he said, trying to sound casual. Big fan of your work? Timothy smiled politely. Thanks, man. Enjoying the premiere? Absolutely, Barron replied. The film was incredible. Zendaya chimed in. Glad you liked it. Are you with the studio? Barron hesitated, but before he could answer, Jake appeared at his side. He's a huge fan of yours, Jake blurted out. Talks about Dune all the time. Barron shot Jake a look but laughed nervously. Yeah, Dune was amazing. As the evening wound down, Barron and Jake decided it was time to make their exit. But just as they reached the door, they were stopped by the event manager, a stern woman with a clipboard. Excuse me, she said. I don't recognize you two. Can I see your badges? Barron and Jake exchanged panicked glances. Their luck had finally run out. Before they could respond, The Rock appeared again, clapping a hand on Barron's shoulder. They're with me, he said smoothly. These two are my nephews. The event manager looked skeptical but didn't argue. All right, Mr. Johnson. Have a good night. As they stepped outside, Barron released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. That was way too close. Jake laughed nervously. I can't believe we pulled that off. Barron grinned. We didn't just pull it off. We met Scarlett Johansson, The Rock, and Timothée Chalamet. Best night ever. As their driver pulled up, Jake shook his head. Your life is insane, dude. Barron leaned back in his seat, a satisfied smile on his face. Yeah, it is. But let's not tell my parents about this, okay? Jake snorted. Deal. And with that, they drove off into the night, already planning their next adventure.